Well, here I am in my little abode, just a little one-room thing with a bathroom and a teeny kitchen without a stove. But I'll show you a few of my rare Mormon books, and I'll talk about the Deseret alphabet. And I've always read a lot of history. I've always just enjoyed history, world history. I have a big collection of American heritages, the old hardcover ones. It's not complete. I have the Complete Horizons, which are these big books on world history with lots of art published by the same people. The hardcovers between the late 50s and 1970, except for one, Volume 4, Number 1. But I once in a while I used to read the Mormon history, but I don't anymore. I've just forgotten about it, and I kind of never want to read about it again. And it's not that I'm against it. It's just, I've read enough. I'm interested in other things now. More. But here's an interesting book. I just thought I'd grab a few. I have a lot of these books in storage up in the storage unit in Clearfield where I used to be. But this one's called Rocky Mountain Empire. And it's not that rare. But it's an interesting author. I've read a lot of his stuff. This is the only one I have left. I've sold a lot of them or given them away or lent them out, never got them back. Just interesting articles about more recent oddities in Mormon history from the last century. And this is a rare one, even though it's not in the best of shape. It has a little water damage and some white paint on it or something, but it's a reprint of The City of the Saints by Richard F. Burton, who was one of the early Central Europeans who was able to penetrate Mecca and write about it and return, and not be caught. And he actually had a fairly favorable impression of the Mormon settlement, but he was attracted to oddities and strange types, and so he might have just dug it for that. But this is also signed by Fawn F. Brody. So I've been told by one dealer that it was, even in its shape now, it might fetch $500. And here is I have a really beat up one too, but here's a really nice, clean Deseret Primer number 2. And I bought it from Weller's many, many years ago. I have a beat up one too. I'll try to open it to the title page and here's the title page. But it was a phonetic alphabet that people used to tell me, and that there was some theories that they wanted to isolate the local people and get them to use this alphabet instead of the alphabet that's used in the English world. And so they'd only read their own publications. Other people said it was because people that came over from Europe and all over the world were coming to Utah, and English was a hard language to learn. It has so many oddities and spelling and, irregularities. And, so they were just making it simple. But it turns out this guy named Beasley wrote me from Europe. I think his name was Kenneth Beasley, and he worked for IBM Research Division. He was from France, and he gave me a very scholarly paper he wrote. It seems the Mormons were interested in a phonetic alphabet when they were east of the Mississippi. There was a theorist, and his name escapes me, that was gaining a lot of attention. And it was kind of a progressive thing, almost like Esperanto was a progressive thing for its time. Because the Mormons in the early days were very young. They were all very young, in their 20s and that, the prophet and the disciples. And they were often into some progressive ideas. Like they incorporated, in the early days of the church, they incorporated a socialist commune. All came into the Mormon church. They may have been influenced by them for their later United Order experiments in Utah. But anyway, I thought I'd pick up this alphabet and just do stuff with it just for fun, because I was kind of a poser artist living in downtown Salt Lake in art studios in the 80s. And even though I was kind of a poser artist, kind of pretentious even, I didn't do much. I just like walked the walk. However, I did practice a lot. I played music like hell back then. I practiced with lots of people, so I was serious about that. But it was only when I left Clearfield and left Salt Lake and moved up to Clearfield, I became serious with the art, and that was much later. After bouts of troubles and making my own booze out of honey and drinking too much. Even though I never became a sloshing drunk, never had a ticket or anything like that for public intoxication. I just sipped too much and too often, but I've kind of quit that. And now I have a rule that I don't drink or party at home. When I go out with people, I'll let loose and let myself have some drinks and whatnot, but at home I'm straight and work. So, should I show some pieces? Here's a series I've done. I'll show 3 of them. I have another one at a guy who does photography work for me at his place. This is the Deseret Garden series, and this is the salamander. Oops, it's upside down. This is the salamander in the Deseret Garden. And in these Deseret Garden things, I also have imps and the like. I don't know if they're fairies, but imps or sprites. And I have a few others. Okay. Here's another one. This one is just a couple of... There's a devil. The guy in the center is a devil. It's a devil in the Deseret Garden. But I've made him a pretty harmless, kind of cute, sappy little devil. And then some sort of little imp or sprite or hobgoblin or whatnot. But this imp, what is he thinking? He's thinking Canada. This imp is thinking of Canada in the garden, the Deseret Garden. And what is the devil pointing to? Boys and girls, what's the devil pointing to? Up here says Mexico. So it's kind of a piece about cultural geography. Of course, there always was lots of Mormons in Mexico and Canada that ran there after the Polygamy trouble and Johnson's army and all that. One more I have here. And this is in the beautiful purple garden of Deseret Darkness. See, it's night. Once again, this does almost seem to be a fairy because he seems to be involved in the plant, deep in the plant world. He's crawling out from it, helping the blossoms grow and whatever. And there's a moth and a butterfly, even though it's usually just the moths are the night thing and the butterfly's the day thing, but anyway, they're both there for some reason. Maybe in enchanted Deseret Gardens they both fly together. And just some berries, maybe it's fall because it looks like the berry trees are kind of dry, maybe you're going to do but anyway, there it is. They look better in direct sunlight. They sparkle in a fantastic, almost kishy way.